All right, I'm excited to share with you how to build automations and AI agents with n8n. If you're new to n8n, you don't know where to start, this is the introduction for you. I spent over 200 hours in n8n and I'm going to summarize it in this condensed format for you to quickly get started. The agenda today is simple. Who am I? I'm going to show you two really cool examples to get you started thinking about why you should do this. The 3 levels of AI, how to do it as cheap as possible and why cost matters, and how do you build your own automations in AI. So I'm a verified n8n creator. I've created 9 different templates. I'm ranked top 54 in the world in terms of people using my templates. That's my background with n8n. Now, to get you started, you must be thinking, how do I use n8n and why should I use it? Well, I'm going to show you an example of something I built. So I got a lot of emails from my son's school for soccer practice, swimming, music lessons. I get 100 emails a day, mixed in with a lot of emails that are just updates. And within that, there's like important deadlines I cannot miss. And I just can't read all the emails. So I built an n8n where this is my mobile phone and it reads the emails and then sends me the important deadlines I need to pay attention to. And so I got all these emails, and within the middle of it, the deadline is 4 p.m. on this day, right? And so it sends to n8n, and then it summarizes and sends me the important ones I need to action on, like so. And that's the power of n8n and having AI agents. And when you build it, you get something like this, where you build a node that reads your emails, and then it sends it to the AI to analyze and summarize. And then it'll send it to my messenger. Here's another example. I do a lot of budgeting and I'm too lazy to take out my app and record every single expense I've made, every coffee, $3. I can't do that. I'm too lazy. So what I figured is I have a lot of bank statements, right? What if I can just drop my bank statements, screenshots, PDF, and give it to an AI agent and summarize it in a CSV so I can import it into my favorite budgeting tool. And it's exactly what this is doing right now. This is what the n8n workflow looks like. It grabs a PDF or images, and based on whether it's a PDF or an image, it'll run a different route. It'll download the PDF if it's a PDF, extract the information, send it to AI, convert it to CSV, and upload it back to Google Drive. And don't worry, both of these workflows that I've shown you, I'll include it in the description so you can download it. You don't have to create anything from scratch, and you can start using these for yourself immediately. And this one, uses AI to kind of do image recognition and extract the data. So these are cool examples you can build to help you improve your productivity, to check your emails, to do bank statements, do whatever you want to do. So my first question at this point is, how much AI are you using now? I give you 2 seconds to think about it. Pause the video, think about it. And the question is, how much of it are you using it, in your daily life? 10% of the time? 20% of the time? Well, n8n is great, but if you don't use AI regularly, you're not a master of AI prompts, that limits the power of what you can build. So I think the baseline is you need to get good at AI. And for me, I personally spend 50% of my time in my AI chatbots. I basically leave a second screen on and I chat with it all day long. And you have to train your mind to use AI all the time so you get in the habit of using AI. So I would highly encourage you to, before building all this, increase the usage of AI in your life and try to make it a habit of everything going to AI first. There are levels of AI, and at first you can prompt, right? A lot of people know how to prompt, but there are also levels to prompting, right? There's beginner prompters and there are expert prompters, and the results you get from being a great prompter varies a lot. Now, once you prompt a lot and you have some processes that you keep prompting over and over again, well, you can automate it, and that's where make.com and n8n comes in, right? So you can just make it work while you sleep. And then later on, when you know how to use it, you can do multi-agent workflows. That's a little bit more complicated, not part of this tutorial. So as an example, right, let's say I want to create a blog using AI, blog post, the basic thing is you type in a bunch of stuff and you prompt the AI to give you a blog post, right? A lot of people know how to do that. But the problem is, it's still a lot of clicks, right? You got to open the website, you got to type in and you got to do that every time you do a blog post. The next step is, let's say you do it like, you do a blog post every day, you don't want to repeat and typing it into ChatGPT every day. You can create a bot. And the bot basically remembers your instructions, and then you can just give it a title and it'll go. So that's one way of doing it. But what if you don't want to use a bot and you don't even want to type in the title? Well, this is the workflow that I have. It's a little bit more sophisticated, which is it takes in a title and it runs automatically, right? So I store the title in the spreadsheet. Every day at midnight, it runs. It gets a title, it generates a subsection text, it generates images, it uses AI to like add different sections and do a lot of cool things, and eventually post it to WordPress for me. So I don't even need to post it to WordPress. It does it automatically for me. And that's the power of what Make.com and n8n can do. So now you have a general idea. You're excited. You want to build an n8n. And I mentioned Make.com and n8n. And I prefer n8n because costs matter, right? I've been doing startup for 10, 15 years. And this is, I spend a lot of money on software, on recurring software, right? Up to like $20,000, $30,000. And all these things that you use in your business, MailChimp, SEMrush, HubSpot, whatever it is, these costs add up. And that's why I prefer n8n, because you can self-host it and you can run as much as you can for just paying the hosting fee. And that's the difference between my tutorial and a lot of different ones, where I have an emphasis on trying to use as little money as possible, right? And so I would highly recommend to look into hosting your n8n, which I'll do another video for. And you can host it for free using Google Cloud, and they give you one server for free. That's what I would recommend. Now, I have used Make.com. It's easier to get in, but after a certain limit, when you start getting into it, the operations cost a lot of money and the costs rack up. Another thing about costs is that in this flow, a lot of the n8n flows send a request to AI, right? You can call Perplexity, you can call ChatGPT, but every time you call the API, you have to pay money. And at first, $0.01 doesn't seem like a lot, but in my case, when I got really into it, I started paying $50, $60 a week, right? So I'm paying a lot of money for these. And what I would recommend is get a self-hosted n8n and then use Open Router and use free LLMs. There's a lot of free LLMs out there that you can use to save yourself money. And now I basically don't really pay that much. And I'll go into what LLMs you should choose. Now, there are a lot of different AI, LLM, large language models out there. And I would recommend that you try every single one out, because they all offer different strengths. For example, I like using Claude for writing. I think it gives the most human kind of text. ChatGPT is good for coding. For Perplexity, I like to use it for research, because it's the only one that allows me to search the internet, right? ChatGPT and Claude is based on old data and doesn't actually search for more recent things. But there's also a lot of free stuff like Llama, and when do you use the free ones are definitely not as good, but there's a lot of boring tasks, right? Like categorize something or extract a text. These are really boring things. I would use free LLMs to achieve. Okay, so the summary so far is that to get started, I would recommend using n8n. Try to get a self-hosted version and use Open Router to use some free LLMs. So then once you get started, you're on the right track to save money, because later on, if you use the paid tools, it's very hard to switch out. The next step is, a lot of people say, hey, I don't have the coding skills. Do I need do I need to learn coding to build n8n automations? And the answer is no, and I'm going to teach you how. Basically, it's really simple. You need to learn 3 skills to start creating your n8n workflows. And myself, I started after 40. I haven't coded in many, many years. I can do it. You can do it. So 3 things. Number 1, use templates. Number 2, use AI to generate workflows. And number 3, use AI to debug. And I'll quickly walk through how you can do that. First of all, if you go to n8n and search for n8n templates, there are thousands. There's, I think, currently 1,300 different templates. And you can search for all sorts of templates. I would start there. Find a template and try to make an existing template work first. Or if you have an idea, get a template that's similar to your idea and then modify from there, because starting from scratch is very difficult. And people have done the work for you, so definitely download the templates. And I have a bunch of templates. You can check out my templates and the first 2 examples there as well. Now, let's say you can't find any templates that fits your needs. Then I would go to second step, which is you can ask AI to generate the workflow for you. Here is a prompt: generate an n8n workflow that takes data from my base row table and then populates into my Amazon. And then it gives you a workflow. You want to output as a JSON file, and then all you need to do is copy and save this as, workflow.json, and then you can import it into n8n, right? It's not going to run immediately, but at least you have a framework to start with. So templates, or ask AI to generate the workflow for you. Now, the third thing I want to tell you is, let's say you're going to be bound to, let's say you find this template and you want to use it, you're going to be stuck with some debugging problems, right? It might not work on the first go. So where to go from there when you're stuck? Well, it's really easy. All you need to do is to copy and paste the error into AI, and then AI will actually teach you how to fix it, right? So you don't need to learn coding. Just copy the error messages and then paste it back in. So I've given you a broad overview, right? Basically, start with n8n, try to get a self-hosted version. If not, just use the free trial. If you're going to use AI, try to use OpenRouter and use free LLMs. And then get started. I think my recommendation is, don't be too ambitious. Pick a really, really simple task and then pick a really simple template and just get the first one going to give yourself some confidence and see how it actually works. And then from there, you can advance and start building more sophisticated n8n automations. So to conclude, you're not limited by your coding skills. You're limited by your imagination, right? Because if I can automate reading my kids' emails and auto categorizing my finance reports, the world is your oyster. You can build all sorts of stuff. So go ahead, try out n8n. And if you like this video, like and subscribe.